IBUG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back here to another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back with you on this beautiful Wednesday evening, the 1st of July, 2026. I hope you've had a wonderful start or a positive start to the new month. And if things have not yet gone your way, I pray that they do go your way. This evening, we'll be doing the watch along for the game between Belgium against Senegal, which is already in the 6th minute, and the Senegalese keep probing the Belgians. So that's what the game will be following. But also, in the course of this podcast, we'll be discussing the breaking news that has sufficed with Newcastle agreeing a deal worth £100 million to sign Sandro Tonali from Newcastle. We'll also talk about Kane bailing out England in that 2-1 victory against the Democratic Republic of Congo, who gave us quite a spirited fight in as far as the action was concerned tonight. So that and more is what we will be discussing in this broadcast. But on that very note, or with that said, I wish to say thank you so much to all those that were part of our morning broadcasts, which, by the way, went all the way to the mid-morning, actually to the afternoon. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for making it worthwhile. People like Farouk, aka Gladiator, Mitchell Wines Sports, Nando Global Sports, Gradao Games, Ash User, and every single one of you that was part of the conversation. Thank you so much for sparing the time and choosing to be part of our conversations. It was really, really a worthwhile discussion that went on for a little, I think a little over 2 hours. Actually, a little over 2.5 hours. So, because it was about 2 hours and 35 minutes. So, thank you so much for having been part of the conversation and for making it worthwhile. As the case often is, I'm trying to put a few things together so that I do not miss out on any of your comments as and of when they may come through. So, yeah, the World Cup is World Cupping. Tonight, we've already witnessed one game. There's another that will be played in the course of the night or / leading into the early morning hours. That's the game between USA and Bosnia and Herzegovina coming at 3 a.m. East African time. I do not know whether we'll be able to do the watch along for that one. But in case that is the case, or in case the opportunity does present itself and I have the bandwidth for it, then be sure I will be here to serve you guys. Now, with that said, let's go through the starting 11s for these two teams that are in action as we speak. Let's have a look at what both sides have fielded. What do they have in their starting 11, and who are those players that we think should be the impact players in this game? But so far, Belgium are asking all the questions thus far. I expect Leandro Trossard to be one of the guys that looks to make the difference for DRC Congo's former colonies. And it is indeed Leandro Trossard testing the Senegalese goalkeeper there, who is called Diwa, Moy Diwa. They also have Jacobs, in Ismail Jacobs. They have Moussa Niakete. They do have a Pathe Sisi. They have a Crepin Diata. They have Idris Kanagay in that midfield. They have a Papa Gueye. They have a Habib Diarra. They do have Ismail Sarr, Sadio Mane, and Ilman Ndiaye in a 4-3-3 sort of system. Remember, they are under the charges of Papa Thiaw. That's for Team Senegal. For the side of the Belgians, they have Thibaut Courtois in goal. They have Timothy Castagna. I don't know why. Sometimes I confuse Timothy Castagna with Lucas Digne, especially with the name Castagna and Digne. Anyways, they have Michele. They have Thiete. They have Max Di Cupia. They do have Van Aken in that midfield alongside Yuri Tillemans, Leandro Trossard, Kevin De Bruyne, Jeremy Doku, and Charles Di Caterreira. Those are the guys that are leading out for Team Belgium. Some of the bench players that you'd think of that could create an impact. Obviously, Belgium have the likes of Romelu Lukaku. He's one of those. Alexis Salamancas is one of those. Then they have Nathan Ngoe, can play as a centre back, can play as a midfielder. He's one of those. And then they have an Amadou Onana who gets to start on the bench. On the side of Senegal, they do have players like Lamine Kamara, who plays for Monaco. They have a Pape Matsa in there. They have a Nicolas Jackson. So let's wait and see how the game will go. If you are to ask me, I'm rooting for Team Senegal, and I'm hoping that they do not become the next African victim that collapses or exits the World Cup at this stage. Because we've already witnessed Ivory Coast in the wee hours leading to today morning exiting the competition. We've witnessed DRC Congo fall to the hands of the United Kingdom or Britain or England, whichever way you may call it. And then we've seen South Africa already sent packing. So there's quite a number of those that have been sent home thus far. So my hope would be that maybe we get to salvage something, and that Senegal is one of those countries that perhaps stay on for the foreseeable future, at least for the next round, which will be the round of 16. So Leandro Trossard has been immense for Belgium. He's been immense. So our poll question tonight is, who will win tonight, Belgium versus Senegal? Who do you think will win tonight? Cast your ballots. Let me know who you think will be winning tonight's fixture in as far as the poll question goes for tonight. I think our record for a poll question still stands at 26 votes. I don't remember particularly whether we were able to surpass it in the morning, but Archie Morrison is back with us. He says, hi, Archie Morrison. Good to have you back on the broadcast. How is your start to the new month? Today being the 1st of July. Meanwhile, today being the 1st of July, tomorrow, which will be the 2nd of July, or in the hours leading into tomorrow, if actually it will already be tomorrow for us at 3 a.m., the best gift that the USA team, Jesus Christ, is that Ismail Sarr? Oh my God, that was a great opportunity. Thibaut Courtois literally fumbled it because he does not get it. He does not get his bearings right. He puts a palm to it, and it falls literally on Ismail Sarr's foot, and he's bailed out by the upright. He's stretching for it, and hence hitting the ground. Just could not put it on into the back of the net. But that's football. So the best gift that the USA team that can give to their country ahead of 4th July, which is their day, or which is the day they celebrate their independence, is by beating up against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And my suspicion is that perhaps is as such that maybe that they will get to win that game of football, maybe by 2-0 or by 3-1. That's my expectation. Okay, Senegal are now beginning to ask questions of their own. That's poor. That's poor. Anyways, Belgium, here they come. Jeremy Doku. Earlier on, England managed to overcome DRC Congo despite going a goal down in as early as the 7th minute through through Chipenge. Is it Chipenge? I hope I'm pronouncing the name the correct way. Through Brian Chipenga. Yes, Chipenga. Brian Chipenga was the goal scorer in the 7th minute to give DRC Congo the lead. And then they missed a golden opportunity to make it 2-0 when Yohan Wissa hit the upright from close range. I mean, that was a bit difficult to take in. Steve Harrington saying Hurricane is fire. Indeed, he had a tremendous performance, bailing his side out with the equalizer, surprisingly. And but that second goal, the winning goal, that was brilliant. That was a show of composure. That was a show of experience. That was a show of leadership and taking responsibility. Yeah, impressive. Quite impressive. I don't know. I feel this side has lots of potential. Senegal need to move the ball a little quicker, because whereas thus far Belgium have looked right in the grand scheme of things, and as far as the tournament is concerned, they've been far from convincing. Ash says, here we go for Tonali. Yes, that's a deal done for £100 million, subject to medical and other formalities. But yeah, Tottenham are going to be paying £92.5 million as guaranteed fees, plus £7.5 million in expected achievable UEFA Champions League qualification best add-ons to reach the tune of 100 million, potentially or possibly. So it's quite a great deal for Tottenham Hotspur, bearing in mind that they had just broken their own transfer record fee. Belgium are sometimes good. Yes, that is Archie Morrison. I saw Techno. You retracted your message saying they broke the bank to sign Matthias Fernandes for £85 million as guaranteed fees from West Ham United. And just a day later, we are having confirmation that they have agreed a deal worth a record £100 million to sign the 26-year-old Italian midfielder Sandro Tonali, to make him the most expensive Italian player ever, and a record signing for Tottenham Hotspur. But Tottenham Hotspur are not yet done in the market, because they are exploring a deal to sign James Trafford from Manchester City. This comes at a time when, not so long ago, or most recently, they did receive news regarding Antonin Kinski, who put pen to paper on a new long-term contract. That's I think the 22 or 23 now, 23-year-old Czech Republic goalkeeper. So that's immense. Now, at Manchester City, they are looking to rate them for two players, because Savinho is a player in whom they have a long-standing interest. So Savinho, then in addition to that, they are looking to add James Trafford as a goalkeeper. And I think that is because maybe Roberto Di Zerbi has told his superiors that Guillermo Vicario will not be his number one. And that's amid his interest from the likes of Juventus, from the likes of Inter Milan, who are interested in his signature. So let's wait and see. Okay. Ash says we won't be anywhere near relegation zone next year, hopefully. I think that's the objective. In any case, the ambition is to compete favorably. First of all, I think the ambition will be to get back in the UEFA Champions League, but also possibly, maybe even challenge for the Premier League title, given the kind of financial outlay that Tottenham Hotspur are showing the world thus far. Then, I mean, next season, yes, I understand completely. Are you an Arsenal fan? Football Tribe? UG? Yes, I'm an Arsenal fan, but predominantly, or for starters, before anything else, I'm a football fan. So for me, it's football first before any club that I pay allegiance to, because my love for football, my support of the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Real Madrid, Brazil, just to mention but a few, is a consequence of my love for football. In case that makes sense for you. Is Jan Vertonghen still playing? Not to the best of my knowledge. Last I checked, he had been playing in one of those lower leagues. But as of present day, I'm not particularly too sure. That is was from Steve Harrington. Savinho next. Hopefully, Senegal are the African champions. Yes, they are the reigning champions of the Africa Cup 2025. After beating Morocco by 1-0. But forget not that result was overturned by the CAF disciplinary committee to award Morocco 3 goals and a win. And therefore, the trophy goes to Morocco, even though Senegal have since refused to hand it over. The case went to ACAS, that's the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and the basis of the CAF disciplinary committee was that Senegal had forfeited the game when they chose to walk off the pitch in protest of a penalty that had been awarded to Brahim Diaz, or that had been awarded to Morocco following a foul by Malik Diouf on Brahim Diaz. So that's about it. Hurricane is at 5 goals, right? Let me see. Yes, because he scored a brace against Croatia. He scored 1 against Panama, and now he scored a brace today. So, to the best of my recollection, he should be at 5 goals thus far. To join in with the rest of the guys in there, because Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi have 6 goals. Then now it should be Hurricane and Brad Erling Haaland with a tally of 5, and then the likes of Vinicius Junior, Ousmane Dembele following in there, the likes of with about 4 goals each. Matas Cunha, Cody Gakpo was since exited the competition. Ismail Saibari, I don't know why sometimes I call him Ismail Sarabia. I confuse the two, but Ismail Saibari all have 3 goals to their name, among a couple of others, the likes of Jonathan David of Canada, the likes of Matas Cunha, Brian Brobby, etc., etc. So Gobridge can't believe it. He said we are beaten by Spurs. Well, Mark Gobridge sometimes tends to blow things out of proportion, but I understand where his feelings stem from. They are purely from a fan's perspective, not in larger context, an objective perspective. I'll do an exclusive video tomorrow, possibly, about those deals for Tottenham Hotspurs, and then I guess we'll get to, in the context, have to add Manchester United and their reservations, because those are 2 top targets that Tottenham have managed to sign. Really, Manchester United perhaps are feeling or thinking that, remember when Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in, he said they're not going to be signing players who do not meet the valuation of the club. No, they're not willing to bend the knee to sellers, in a way, for lack of a better word. So can United get Tchouameni? Yeah, they can. They just need to, at the right fee, they can get Tchouameni at the right fee. So, but beyond Tchouameni, Bruno Guimaraes, Alex Scott, who is by the way not a deep 6 in my opinion, I wait to see how or who else they turn their attention to predominantly or primarily. Do you think Senegal can defeat? Do you think Senegal are a decent team? Yes. I mean, like we've just talked about them being the reigning champions of AFCON, having won it the second time. Of course, the first coming in 2021. I think in 2021 they beat Egypt on penalties to win their first Africa Cup of Nations. Waiting for Spain versus Austria. Oh, and it's a goal. Senegal have the goal. Habib Diarra opens the account for the Lions of Teranga. Oh, wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Habib Diarra, Rudy Garcia requests his players to come down, but Habib Diarra is the goal scorer? Sadio Mane with the cross. I think it's headed by Ismail Sarr. It goes off the upright, bounces back into play, and Habib Diarra is a player that reacts the quickest to put it into the back of the net. That's where we want Senegal to be. Brilliant flick of a header from Ismail Sarr. Goes off the upright. He's very unfortunate with that. And then Habib Diarra reacts the quickest. So, and I can see Papa Thiaw celebrating on the touchline. Steve Harrington saying he's waiting for Spain versus Austria. That game will come subsequently at 10 p.m. tomorrow. So, be prepared for that. Then, let me see. I don't want to skip any of your comments. I hate to skip any of your comments. But we now have our own Declan Rice in form of Tonali. Hey, Ash, yesterday, was it yesterday or today morning? I think yesterday you said you have now your own Declan Rice in Matthias Fernandes. Then you have your Declan Rice in Sandro Tonali. So which is which? Belgium can't be worse than this. It's a team that is past their prime, in my humble opinion. Goal for Senegal. Boom. Lukaku needs to come on. Well, he will eventually come on because even last time against New Zealand, he came on and scored, and it wasn't the first time. This is one of those games that they drew at the group stages where he came on and forced a goal. It eventually was ruled as an own goal, but he was a key catalyst to that game at the time. We need all Belgium back, 2018 version. Unfortunately, you do not have the same pool of talents as you had in 2018. So it just can't happen that way. It's time for the hydration break. I hope the hydration break does not kill the momentum of the Lions of Teranga, who seem to have quite the number of fans out there as things stand. Okay. So the game is being played at the Seattle Stadium in Seattle. I think that's Washington. Okay. So the Sandro Tonali news. First of all, for me, it's a show of ambition from Tottenham Hotspur. It's a great show of ambition from Tottenham Hotspur. Okay. Jesus Christ. Transfer news is flying all over the place. Speaking of Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle want to sign Achai Gray from Tottenham Hotspur. So we're going to be discussing all that. But Habib Diarra is the man that is still making the difference, because you remember he does play for Sunderland, and last campaign he made about 20 appearances and scored 2 goals and provided 2 assists for last campaign. But okay, so that news regarding Tottenham Hotspur was broken by none other than David Ornstein, in as far as what they had reached upon. And then Newcastle have wasted no time, because they have agreed a deal with Hoffenheim to sign Bizoumana Traore from Hoffenheim. So we are going to be discussing that as well. Looks like things are happening thick and fast in as far as this evening is concerned. The Ivorian winger does play for Hoffenheim in German. So he's the player that has been identified to come in, made 30 appearances last campaign, scored about 5 goals and provided 7 assists. Let's see if he will be quite the success. But with that said, let's first revert back to the news regarding Tottenham Hotspur. So David Ornstein said Tottenham reached agreement with Newcastle United to sign Sandro Tonali, deal for the 26-year-old Italian international to join Tottenham from Newcastle worth 92.5 million pounds plus 7.5 million pounds in potential add-ons based around multiple Champions League qualifications. When it comes to add-ons, sometimes teams haggle over whether they should be easily achievable add-ons or whether they should be slightly harder. So in this particular case, Newcastle have said it should be based around multiple UEFA Champions League qualifications. And I think that's to make things a little bit simpler, if you understand what that means. So there's that. And I think it's a good deal. When it comes to the price tag, in this market or in this transfer window, I can no longer contest or haggle about the price tags of players after Man City set that sort of precedent in signing Elliot Anderson for 116 million pounds. I've seen lots of criticism from people who think he's well worth it, but when you look at the fact that Sandro Tonali is around the same ballpark or sort of profile of a player with Elliot Anderson, so you can completely understand. We're talking about a player who also for 3 campaigns, including, although not making so many appearances in his debut campaign because he had to serve a ban for being in breach of the betting rules, or gambling rules. So then last campaign, 0 goals scored, only 2 assists provided. So I do not know. I'm going to wait to see who is played as the 6 and who is played as the 8, because Matheus Fernandes prefers to play as an 8, even though he can play as a 6. He'll have to do the box-to-box kind of role. But also the same applies for Sandro Tonali. I do not know. We'll wait and see how Roberto Di Zerbi uses them both. But that's quite the huge financial outlay for Tottenham Hotspurs to be spending well in the excess of 180 million pounds to 175 million pounds to bring in 2 midfielders. It's really, really impressive. It's really, really impressive. It's good business, and not in terms of value for money, but in terms of the profiles of players that they have signed. But like I said, once Man City agreed to that deal with Nottingham Forest, all teams with midfielders that are highly sought after were going to sort of sit on their high horse and play the waiting game, to knowing that other big teams were going to, pay top dollar for their targets. Okay, how Nigeria didn't qualify for the World Cup? Well, they were not good enough in the end because they were beaten by, I think, Cameroon in the playoffs. No, they beat Cameroon in the playoffs and then met DRC Congo and lost to DRC Congo. So they did not meet the required standards to get here. So, and by the way, Nigeria sometimes are overrated, sometimes overrated. I don't think they would have made a difference to this tournament. Not really, not in my humble opinion. They're home to some really, really good players, that's for sure, but they did not merit to be here, and that's why they are not here. Anyways, will Norway reach the semi-finals, bro? I do not know. They have the potential to make it there. Their performance against Ivory Coast was less convincing, and next up in terms of their opponent is going to be Team Brazil, a very difficult opponent. Yes, Brazil have not looked that great, but it's going to be a difficult game for both sides. I tip Brazil to advance at the expense of Norway, but Norway do have the players that can, cause an upset on Team Brazil, because in this particular case, Brazil is the giant and Norway are the underdogs. So fingers crossed, we'll have to wait and see how things go. But yeah, Newcastle have agreed to a deal to sign Bizomana there. Torre from Hoffenheim. He's a 22-year-old Ivory Coast winger. So subject to, medical and other formalities for him to be joining Newcastle. I've told you about Tottenham's interest in James Trafford from Manchester City. That's according to Miguel Deraini. I think Miguel Deraini, last I checked, he worked with the Independent. So one of those renowned journalists, reliable and trusted sources. Meanwhile, speaking of goalkeepers, Arsenal keeping tabs on former Leeds goalkeeper Ilan Marcelia, in case Kepa Arrizabalaga is to leave the club. So really, really impressive stuff. Then also earlier on, Tottenham and Brighton and Hove Albion did agree a deal worth £46 million plus £4 million in expected add-ons for the signature of Luka Vuskovic with a 20% feature sell-on clause. So that brings the deal to a total package of about £52 million. So if he goes out there, cracks the code, and is immense a talent, as has been advertised, then come calling for him. Trust me, when they demand for 80, £90 million, oh, Sadio Mane appear to be falling, should be getting a stronger shot off in that position. Senegal are looking brilliant, some great interplay. His attempt should be more powerful than that. Turned out to be a mere comfortable save for Thibaut Courtois. Then also, in some of the big news happening or going on tonight, is that Nottingham Forest did part ways or have parted ways with Vita Pereira. He did say, while speaking to Sky Sports, that it came as a surprise with no prior warning whatsoever. So Evangelos Marinakis decided to pull the plug on a man with whom they had concluded discussions on about how they were going to behave in this transfer window. But well, he's as good as gone. And guess who is coming at the City ground? It's the former Crystal Palace manager in Oliver Glasner. He is coming to Nottingham Forest. I don't know if it's an impressive piece of business for Nottingham Forest or it's an impressive decision for Oliver Glasner. But we are talking about a man who, in a period of a little over 12 months, guided Crystal Palace to the triumph of the FA Cup, the triumph of the Community Shield, and the UEFA Conference League trophy. 3 trophies in the club's 120-year history. 3 in 1 year. And that's about it. We're talking about Vita Pereira, who came in to replace Sean Dyche, and he was the 4th manager. So Oliver Glasner tentatively or essentially becomes the 5th manager for Nottingham Forest in a space of under 12 months. Now, Vita Pereira had replaced Sean Dyche, guided Nottingham Forest to a 16th place finish, successfully beating relegation, and also saw them reach the semi-finals of the UEFA Europa League before losing to Aston Villa, the eventual champions. So that's what is partly happening. In as far as the game is concerned, you're not missing much or haven't missed much in the last couple of seconds. But Belgium have looked a bit toothless. Ayan Pandi, you say, I hate Virati Kohli. He faked his death. He told you it wasn't true. Guys, I hate Virati Kohli. He faked his death yesterday. Told you it wasn't true. Why? What do you think he would have done that? If what you say is indeed true, that he faked his death, what do you think would have led him to do that? for gaining love, really, as in love from the people or love from a woman. You know, love drives people to do the unthinkables sometimes. Dev, hi Dev. How are you doing, Dev? Good to have you on the broadcast. And where are you joining us from? Guys, do not forget to take to partake in the poll question for tonight. Who will win tonight? Belgium versus Senegal. 8 votes cast thus far. 62% of you think it will be Belgium that will go through. 38% of you believe the Lions of Teranga in Senegal will be the ones to advance. Ayan, you say from people, Virati Kohli wanted love from people. That's why he faked his death. I hate him. Well, did it work or did it not work? Because if it was a stunt, it has to, either of two things can happen. Either it works or it doesn't. Is this Idris Kanagay? Oh, it's a clash into his back by Decopia, Max Decopia. Have you noticed players are nowadays not staying on the ground too long to necessitate the summoning of a team doctor? Because they know. And I think it's good. It's good that a lot of time wasting is being cut out. A lot of time wasting is being cut out. Good game so far. I think Senegal will be happy with where they currently are, but also they will be knowing that they should have had more than one goal. Doku, oh, has nearly deflected in the wrong direction. Oh, beautiful control of the ball by um, Kevin De Bruyne. Jeremy Doku was looking to cross that ball, but it deflected off the defender into the goalkeeper's direction. Papa Gueye did score a brilliant brace against Iraq in Senegal's final game of the group stage. Senegal, the only country that came as one of the third best placed teams out of the 8 with only 3 points. So, Senegal are being asked questions. They're living dangerously. The Belgians are turning up the heats. The Belgians are turning up the heats. Pathy Cisse is having to do a great deal of work in there. Oh, Max Decopia testing the Senegalese goalkeeper from distance. Diwa or Daiwo. Oh, put his left palm to it. Morrison says, I'm back. Good to have you back. Uh-oh. Senegal having the better XG at 1.86 compared to 0.009, 0.09 for Belgium, who have only thus far had about 2 shots on targets and 3 on target for Senegal, who are dominated possession to the tune of at least 52%. Senegal, here they come again. Ilman India on the wrong side of that one. It's one of those players. Some people have been demanding that he gets to start games, but I don't think he's lived to the billing in this game thus far. Jeremy Doku fended off. The referee asking the Senegalese goalkeeper, Diawa, or something like that, to fasten things up. You're not missing much. The game is a bit dull-ish in the last couple of minutes. We're into the 4th minute of the 5 added minutes for the first half. We are bound for the break, but Jeremy Doku wins his side, a free kick. It's a bit of a distance out. Sadio Mane being suspect in that, in causing the foul that leads to the free kick. Initially, the referee had said carry on, but once he lost possession, decided to call things back. Yuri Tillemans and Max de Coupia, as well as Kevin De Bruyne, are all standing at the ball, but looks like Yuri Tillemans has left the scene, has left the crime scene, and it's Max de Coupia puts it in the wall. only a couple of seconds left for the referee to call this first half to an end. Otherwise, so far, so good for Team Senegal. Oh, beautiful pass. I think from KDB to Jeremy Doku. Tillemans puts in the cross. Oh. And the referee calls the time to a break. Halftime score, Senegal 1, Belgium 0. The Lions of Teranga go into halftime with the lead. Yep. What did you guys make of the opening 45 minutes? I thought Senegal overall were the better team. They must be careful not to give away too many chances, especially in front of goal. You know, because if you give away spaces, Belgium have some players that can strike that ball from distance with some good precision. Kevin De Bruyne, Yuri Tillemans, Max de Copia, you know, all have a bit of a powerful shot. Anyways, earlier on, okay, before we get to the earlier story. So for me, I believe Senegal have been the better side thus far. I thought Ismail Sarr has looked very threatening inside that box. I thought Sadio Mane is putting it quite the shift, trying to be in as many places as possible to help his team. The centre backs for Senegal have done fairly okay. Habib Diarra popping up with the goal. But yeah, it's been quite good. Belgium will need to pull up their stockings for the second half if they are to get something out of this game. And the only thing you get out of the game is by advancing to the round of 16. Otherwise, there are no draws. It's either you win or you lose. Okay. Earlier on, we did witness England beat DRC Congo by 2-1. Harry Kane scoring in the 75th minute and in the 86th minute to win it for the Three Lions. I thought the Three Lions did struggle to break down Congo, who played in a bit of a low block at times and defended their lines really well, as you'd expect. They were up against a tougher opponent and a bigger team that they knew, but they did not give him too much respect, because in the end, you had England register at least 7 attempts on target, with only two for Team DRC Congo. You had England edge possession to the tune of 60%, compared to 40% of DRC Congo. They completed, or they made at least 493 passes, compared to only 346 for DRC Congo. Passing accuracy was at 92%. That's for Team England. That's for the statistics that mattered, at least anyway. But England's total attempts on goal were about 16 in total. Anyways, so 6 off targets and a couple of blocked shots. 10. They had about 5 corner kicks. Now, I noticed that I think it was intentional for DRC Congo not to concede so many corners against a team that they knew could hurt them on set pieces. When it comes to the first goal, when Congo scores, I want to understand what that England backline was thinking. Ezri Konsa and McKay, what they were thinking. Because, I mean, yes, you could, because a lot of people have faulted Noni Madueke for not tracking back, you know. Then you had Mark Gay and Ezri Kosa both dragged out of position, and by the time the Jet Space tries to recover, they've already lost. They've already lost the space, you know. I don't know if it was I'm trying to find out exactly who was running into that box that Jet Space needed to track. I don't know who exactly it was that he needed to track. I don't know whether it was Noah Sadiki, but he tracks him, and he goes into the box, and then in doing so, he leaves himself exposed because Sipenga or Chipenga, that is Brian Kimbambe Sipenga, is left unmarked. Now, as he goes back across to cover, he's a little too late because Kipenga has already set himself up and is going for the shot at goal. Speaking of the shot at goal, I thought Jordan Pickford should have done better. You know, I thought Jordan Pickford should have done better in serving that shot because it's at the near post. He's close by, but he just doesn't dive quite specifically on time for him to make the save. And for me, all this, because I don't want to blame so much Jet Space. My question is more on the two center backs. By allowing to be dragged out of position, they accost themselves, you know? Yeah, I think it was Noah Sadiki who stole it was Noah Sadiki arriving into the box who steals the attention of Jet Space, and Jet Space goes to track him because the center backs had all ventured away, and by the time he looks to recover on the other side, Chipenga is already gone. And then that's how DRC took the lead, and it was a deserved lead in as early as the 7th minute. Now, once they went into the lead, obviously, they were going to try and play a waiting game where you wait to capitalize on the mistakes of your opponent to try and extend your lead. And they almost did. But before they took that opportunity, on the other side, Mpisa, is it Mpisa or Mapisa? Jesus Christ. Yes, no, actually it is Mbasi. It's not Mapisa, it's Mbasi, the DRC Congo keeper who was being called to action. Twice he denied Jude Bellingham in the first half. And then on another occasion, he denied Harry Kane. It was a corner kick deep into like the back end of the 6 yards box. Harry Kane has a good strike at it, but he was there to save. Then the other was Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He blocked that attempt from Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford went for an easy place, wanted to keep it on target, and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka was right there on the line to keep that shot out. Now, on the other side, I felt Yohan Wissa should have done more because in a game against a team like England, you're obviously not going to get as many opportunities. And indeed, they were not getting that many opportunities. But that one opportunity that forced them with with Aaron Wan-Bissaka putting in a very, very decent cross, which goes through a brush of the midriff of Nico O'Reilly. He puts that wide onto the post and out. Jordan Pickford was already beaten at that point. So, and then once that doesn't happen, it's going to be a long day. Then in the 43rd minute, there was a shout out for a penalty from Hurricane. He goes to the floor, he's made contact with the goalkeeper, but the referee made the right call. It's not a penalty. I've seen lots and lots of England fans, both renowned and otherwise, making the claim that is Michael Owen said, if that is not a penalty, I do not know what is. A lot of people seem to think that should be a penalty. I do not think so. I agree with the referee's decision because what we had in this particular case is an experienced player in Hurricane anticipating that there was going to be contact, and in anticipating that contact, he begins to fall to the ground before the contact is made on him. And by the time the contact is made on him, he's already going to the ground. But also, the goalkeeper who was coming in is already trying to drag himself out of position because he knew that the striker was going to try and clatter into him and perhaps, get him to concede a penalty. So I thought it was a great decision. It went to VAR. They had a slight review of it, and they agreed with the on-field decision that there's no clear and obvious error from the referee in the decision that he made. For him, it was a dive. Whereas Hurricane was not penalized for that. With the booking, I understand still. Although, if you're not awarding it as a penalty, excuse me, guys, if you're not awarding it as a penalty, then I think Hurricane should be penalized. So it was the right call. Then we came the second half. In both intervals, in both stanzas, England seemed to benefit a lot from the hydration break because after a hydration break, they looked a better team. Obviously, in the second half, they made some changes, introducing Bukayo Saka for Noni Madueke, withdrawing Marcus Rashford for Anthony Gordon, who ended up providing a burst of assists on the night, which turned out to be immense. At one point, they withdrew Dejan Space and pushed Declan Rice to play as a right back, which I thought helped them. They ended up creating overloads in that right wing. That's after they had introduced Ebeleche Eze. So you had Ebeleche Eze, an oncoming Declan Rice, and then, Bukayo Saka out wide. And when you see the first goal or the equalizer for England, it's Declan Rice that occupies that inside space between Eze and Saka before he puts in the cross, which I thought when it goes to the back end of the post and it's in the reception of Anthony Gordon, Aaron Wan-Bissaka did not close down Anthony Gordon. He accommodated him the space to float in the ball. A Hurricane who starts off the run in behind Axel Tuanzebe, makes the dart in front of him and hits the ball into the back of the net, and it was 1-1. Now, in that second half, there was another moment for which I thought Ezri Konsa should be getting a yellow card straight up because he refused to play the ball and he played the man. He went after Yohan Wissa and, intentionally pushed him to the floor. And the referee did not award the yellow card for that. I found that quite suspicious because you're not going to get to see a yellow card as obvious as that one, So, and yet he did not give it. First edit, hello to you too. How are you doing? How is the going? I hope you're doing all right. Then moments later, again, Jude Bellingham is denied by Mpasi. Now, in being denied by Mpasi, the DRC Congo defense refuse or fail or are reluctant to react. And then the ball falls because once the goalkeeper makes the save, it is you, the defense, that have to react the quickest to put that ball out of danger or further away. But I thought they did not react quick enough. And before they knew it, Anthony Gordon has stolen the ball, flicks it in the path of Declan Rice, into the path of Hurricane. And Hurricane uses his experience, controls the ball, runs as though he's running outside the directness of goal. And then without even looking at the goal, he puts that ball in the back of the net. That's experience. That's understanding. That's experiential awareness of where the goal is and how hard and how high you need to strike that ball to, find the back of the net. And it did just that. And in the end, England won, knocking out DRC, and the rest is history. Meanwhile, Belgium, we are set for the second half to resume, and Belgium looking to make a halftime change, introducing Romelu Lukaku. Hurricane is world class, indeed. At the end of this, Hurricane should be knighted. For those of you that know what it means, recently, I think David Beckham and what's the actor's name? Idris Elba were knighted by King Charles. So he should be knighted, should be granted the title Sir. He's been quite immense for England. Win or lose in terms of the World Cup, he's been immense. He's been quite brilliant. So they should look to do something for him. He deserves it. He's their all-time goal scorer, I think at about 83 goals thus far. Do you think Kane will win the Golden Ball? I don't think so just yet, because, when we talk of top performers, yes, he's right there. He's right up there with some of the absolute best. But Lionel Messi has been brilliant. Michael Olise has been immense. Kylian Mbappe has been good. So, and then there's a player called Eric Lira, a central midfielder with the Moroccan national team. He's been quite brilliant. He does play for, is it Cruz Ariz? I think Cruz Ariz in the Mexican League. So, anyways, Romelu Lukaku has been introduced. We would be interested in knowing who has paved the way for him to come on. But yeah, that's how the game transpired between England and DRC Congo. But DRC Congo will be really proud of their performance. Charles de Caterreira is the player that has been withdrawn for to accommodate Romelu Lukaku. I think they're looking for a more traditional, and Romelu Lukaku is good. He gives you the physique. He does not get bullied by defenders. He has good link-up play and all that sort of thing. Who do you think? Well, if you had to ask me at the moment, I think I would go with Mike Olise for the Golden Ball. He's looked brilliant. Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, huge contention. I know Messi has a hat-trick in there, but Kylian Mbappe has been immense. So it would be one of those two guys for me ahead of Hurricane, ahead of Hurricane. You say you too? Okay. Uh-oh. So, yeah, that would be my take. Among the goalkeepers, Bart Verbruggen, for me, has been a standout performer. Quite a standout. Yes, they are out of the competition. Ali, by the way, that group that had Netherlands, Sweden, Tunisia. What's the other country? Japan are all out of the tournament. Are all out of the tournament. You say you like Antonio Nusa? Yeah. Antonio Eremorese Nusa. Brilliant. In Group A, 3 teams are all out. South Korea, Czech Republic, South Africa. In Group B, Switzerland and Canada are still in, as well as Bosnia. Qatar is out. In Group C, Morocco and Brazil are still around. Haiti and Scotland are already gone. In Group D, USA and Australia are still around, as well as Paraguay. Turkey is already home. In Group E, Cote d'Ivoire, Germany, Ecuador, and Curaçao are all home. So Group E and Group F are all home. Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia all gone home. In Group G, Belgium and Egypt are still around, but Iran and New Zealand are already home. In Group H, Spain and Cape Verde are still around. Uruguay and Saudi Arabia are already gone. Then in Group I, France and Norway and Senegal are still around. Iraq is already home. Argentina, Austria, Algeria are still around. Jordan home. Colombia, Portugal, DRC Congo, and Uzbekistan. Colombia and Portugal are still around. Really, DRC Congo and Uzbekistan have been sent packing. Croatia still around. Ghana still around. England are still around. Panama are sent home. So 2 groups have been gone already. That must have been embarrassing. German going out. Yeah, it was embarrassing for German. 4-time champions going out at the hands of Paraguay with very little pedigree in the competition. Yeah, that was quite embarrassing. The performance was quite wanting on the day. And even their penalty shootouts are less impressive, to say the least. So that's been the story of Team German in as far as this World Cup is concerned. Newcastle's deal for Bizoumana Traore is worth 50 million euros. I think they are crying. Well, they can cry all they want. It won't change anything. I'm going to play in the Norwegian Academy at Strom Godset after the summer. Okay. Whoa, what a goal. It's 2-0. Ismail Sarr with a brilliant goal. Really, Sarr's reading your comments, Foods edits. Senegal scored. And it's brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He's completely onside. Ismail Sarr, ball, long pass from deep. He just sits and then he goes for that sweet strike. He goes for power, precision, and on target. It's not much that Thibaut Courtois could do. Just that ball in the right path, and Theatre could not do much about that. And it's Senegal 2, Belgium 0. And the Senegalese celebrate with absolute joy. Meanwhile, there's a meme of Hurricane diving into an Olympic-sized swimming pool with other swimmers. It was quite the banger. Yeah, beautiful goal. Now, that makes the job even harder for Belgium. I hope Senegal do not relent, because if you let them back in, then you could be in for a nervous ending. So the more they keep it tight at the back, better they will be. Yuri Tillemans, I didn't know he was the one donning the armband until just now, by the way. It's not something that I'd taken keen interest in. Dani Rodriguez is joining Dinamo Zagreb from Barcelona. Oh, the way he chests that ball and strikes it gave Didier Drogba vibes. I remember that Harry Maguire said to defend that is it was a good dive. He said, "Are you practicing for the Olympics?" Lucky Singh, unless you're watching a PS, you're watching the game on PS5. What is your favorite club? My favorite club? Arsenal is my favorite club. Arsenal is my favorite club. Arsenal, Real Madrid. But for me, it's football first. And as a consequence of football being fast, I then drift away to these clubs. Oh, that's a bold change. Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku are being withdrawn for Raskin and Luke Ebakoy. That's quite bold. Told you Doku was overrated. People didn't believe me. Now I cannot even inspire Belgium to victory. Very good African team. Yeah, very good indeed. Senegal is one of those countries that have been doing things right. Even when you go to their junior levels, that is a good club. They did win the Premier League. Yes, their 14th league title ever and their fourth Premier League title, and the first in 22 years. So you can imagine the misery, the agony, the disappointment, the loss of hope, sometimes even faith during 22 years that we had to lose and try and regain at different intervals, hoping against hope that one day they will win the league title, and eventually it came. Now the question is, can they defend it? Can they, for the first time in Premier League history, win it back to back? Because they've never done it. That is going to be the question. Diakite, Crepin it's a lovely fast move. Senegal, I think if you mean the second goal, Morrison say, what time is the Argentina versus Cape Verde? I need to check and find out. That game will be played on Saturday at 1 a.m. East African time. Do you think Christian Eriksen should retire after what happened? Yeah. I think he needs to hang up the boots. And this is what I said after what happened. I may sort of understand why he's still in the game. I mean, it's the passion. I don't think it's no longer still about the money. I think it's the passion. But more importantly, sometimes we do not know what's going on in other people's lives. It could be that this beautiful game is what distracts him from else that could not be going right in his life. And in a way, he thinks he needs to stay there. But I feel that he needs to retire or maybe go and play amateur football. Beautiful block from the Senegalese as Belgium continue to probe. So maybe if he thinks he needs to sort of stay in the game, maybe go do his coaching badges and see if he can, go into management, something like that. Belgium looking for that first goal. Yuri Tillemans, his attempt just hit the side net. John Mitch. You say, are you Yaya Toure? No, I'm not Yaya Toure. Far from it. Yaya Toure was recently named the head coach at Slovan Bratislava. There. You say, I have to go. All right, for the edits. Thank you so much for your time and your continued love and support for the channel. Are you Samuel Eto'o? Samuel Eto'o feels? No. Currently at the helm of the Cameroon Football Federation. See you soon. See you when you see me. Do not hesitate to return and say hello whenever you can spare the time. It's exactly 23 minutes past midnight for us. And that game between USA and Bosnia Herzegovina does not kick off until 3 a.m. We're at the 1 hour mark of this one. At the 1 hour mark of this one, and Senegal retained their 2-0 leads. But in the last 4 minutes, it has been Belgium asking all the important questions. Senegal have done well to defend. I think they will be hoping that hydration break comes as soon as possible. Rudy Garcia is ready to make another change. Lock again. Leandro Trossard on the floor in agony, saying his back was hurt. Vanaken has been withdrawn for Moreira. Vanaken has been withdrawn for Moreira. But so far, in the last 5-7 minutes, It's Senegal that have the momentum. You say, love all blocks. African team. Oh, Ismail Sarr. Ismail Sarr tried to get away from Michele, Brandon Michele, and he decided, you're not going anywhere, I'll fire you. Bole, is it Bole or Bolen? Hi, how are you doing? Good to have you on the broadcast. Senegalese players are asking their teammates in Ismail Sarr to get back on his feet. He will walk with a slight limp. Good fouls running on Belgium half. I mean, when it comes to a winning possibility, according to Google data, it's 89% for Senegal, 9% chance for extra time, and 2% for Belgium to win it. Leandro Trossard. He's not had a great second half thus far. I was one of those players that likes to sort of drift deep and try to impact the game. Oh. Romelu Lukaku is yet to have his chance. Yes, Archie Morrison. Senegal looking to make some changes of their own. Sorry, my internet wasn't working. Apologies about that. Sorry about that. It does happen. Even it happened to me twice this morning. Internet dropped. Not the first time. Keeps happening. It's a thing that Papa Gueye being withdrawn for Kamara. Here they come. Senegal are struggling to have some time on the ball. It's annoying for UK time to watch World Cup games because they are in Mexico, Canada, and America, basically the other side of the world. Yeah, literally for us it's night, for them it's day. So that's basically about it. Let me see if I can get myself the world clock here and see what time it is. For example, in New York, it's 5:34 p.m. Let's see if we can find Seattle. Seattle, Washington, USA, it's 2:34 p.m. So you can imagine. And this game is being played in Seattle. It's the temperature's at about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, I've come to learn that there's a heat wave sweeping in and across Europe. You know, if you have some cash to spare, you can come to Uganda. The weather is beautiful. It did rain today morning. So what's with the heat wave? The other day I was watching um, Charles Watts on his podcast with James Bench, and saying the temperatures are wild. Almost feels like 100 degrees out there. Moreira. Uh-oh. The kind of clearance Kamara would have been hoping for, but it's gathered by his goalkeeper quite comfortably. Uh-oh. Senegal have conceded possession in a dangerous zone. Ball goes through the box begging. Sadio Mane dispossessed. Yuri Tillemans. Yuri Tillemans seems to be sharing some frustration with his teammate in Leandro Trossard. Looks like they do not agree on his usage of the ball. He attempted to put in the cross for Romelu Lukaku, did not get to its intended target as he had hoped, but Leandro Trossard, reacted to that angrily, and as captain, Yuri Tillemans was giving it to him. Was definitely handing it to him. But so far, so good. Team Senegal are in a comfortable spot. They lead with 2 goals from Habib Diarra, and Ismail Sarr. Senegal's XG remains high at 2.71 compared to 0.31 for Belgium. 2 shots on target for Belgium and 4 on target for Senegal. Belgium now edging possession to the tune of 55%. That's 3 more compared to their earlier data, put it at 52%. Are Senegal defending a lot? I think they're doing what they're supposed to do. So I think they're doing what they need to do. I mean, you can't expose yourself to go attack when you have a 2-0 lead. I think their strategy, Ilman Ndiaye has been withdrawn. I think their strategy now is sit back in a way, defend, and look to catch Senegal on the counter attack. Pape Matsa is being introduced as well after the hydration break. Ilman Ndiaye and Habib Diarra are the players that have been withdrawn for Pape Matsa and his counterparts in Ibrahim Mbaye. You look like a player from my team What's the name of the player? You say Pape Habib Gueye. He left my team, Aberdeen. Okay. Apparently, Eduardo Camavinga could be a target for Manchester City. Do you like Mbappe? Who doesn't? Who doesn't? That seems more like an answer than it is a question. You know? We're into the 75th minute of the game, and Belgium are yet to find the breakthrough. Belgium are yet to find the breakthrough. Oh. Senegal basically toying with Belgium, looking to invite them into a press, but Belgium are not shifting positions. Belgium look to make another change. I don't think the changes that they've made thus far have had a positive impact to the game. Not really. Somebody thinks they're going to power their way through the entire midfield. Thibaut Courtois will be up for that one. What is Ugandan food like? Oh, Ugandan food, it's really, really great. Our cuisine is quite expansive. It's quite immense. It's quite expansive. There's lots of foods, indigenous foods. You'll eat things like matoke. You'll eat things like cassava. I don't know if you've heard of that. You'll eat sweet potatoes. Oh, what an attempt that was from distance. What an attempt that was. Belgium's Luke Bokoy, Luke Bakoy, or Kyo, having an attempt from distance. So I was telling you, You'll eat food like matoke, sweet potatoes, cassava, Irish potatoes, yams in different types. You'll eat millet flour, which is called kalo. You'll eat there's just so many things. You'll eat fresh fish from the lake. You'll eat groundnuts, or what many of you call peanuts. You'll eat eggplants. You'll eat bitter balls. You'll eat greens. I mean, there's just plenty. Our cuisine is just rich. What language is in Uganda? There's so many languages. In terms of our official language, English is the official language. But in terms of local languages, there's very many of those. There's Luganda. There's so just a second. So there's Luganda, there's Runyankore, there's Runyakitara, there is Luo, there's Acholi, there's Itesot, there's Lugisu, there's Samia, Lusoga, Kejong, Samia, there's Rutoro, there's Ruchiga, there's Kinyarwanda, because we have a Kinyarwanda community in Uganda. I mean, it's just many of them. So Archie Morrison, I put him in a timeout because it's not the first time that Josh Allen is here. It's like the second time or the third time. Comes with his weird comments. Football players will not go to heaven. You stamp on somebody's foot and then deny that you did anything wrong. You deny any wrongdoing. How do you live with yourselves? You know? One of my devices went out of battery, so I was having it plugged in. But we're into the 80th minute of the game. 10 minutes of normal time left to play, and whatever will be added on top of that, ordinary 6-7 minutes or more. Oh, Senegal's free kick not perfectly executed. And looking to go back home deep. So there's plenty of things to enjoy in Uganda. Our climate weather is the best you'll find across the entire globe. It shines, it rains. We have 2 seasons. We have the dry season and we have the wet season or the rainy season. It's either one of those. There's nothing like winter. There's nothing like spring, you know. What Josh said, why he said inappropriate things? Well, we cannot control the entirety of human behavior as to what they say or do. Some people are just like that. That's the nature of society. You can't really control everything around you when it comes to human behavior. You can only hope that you meet kind people in life. Kind and compassionate people. That's all you can hope for. Surprisingly, Alhaj Diouf is in the stands. Players like, as a glorious attempt from Yuri Chilamans, but could not find the back of the net. Players like Kalidou Koulibaly, not even on the pitch. Like yesterday, somebody said that racist thing to you yesterday. I mean, it happens. It happens. People will say odd things on the internet. The one thing that I try to tell people is that do not let it get to you, because in life there's just that many kind of people, those kinds of people that you're going to meet that are going to be unkind to you, or unbefitting of society norms. So it is what it is. You and I cannot control it. Cannot control. Oh, Sadio Mane forcing Thibaut Courtois into a brilliant save. Belgium were hoping for an offside flag. That took ages to come. Is it talent? Sorry, is it late in Uganda? Late. It's at midnight, 47 minutes past midnight. So for us, we're already into the 2nd of Jan. So in case you're making reference to time, it's 47 minutes past midnight. So yeah. Is that Yuri Chilamans conceding possession in a dangerous area? Sadio Mane, good hold up play. Could not make it count. You say, I'm in the UK. Okay. I know in the UK it's about 10:48 p.m. because we are 2 hours ahead of you. So that means the game at 3 a.m. is going to come at about 1 a.m. for you guys in the night. What? Oh, it's a goal. Romelu Lukaku, at long last, pulls one back for Belgium. We could have quite the ending to the game. That's immense. Romelu Lukaku, with 5 minutes left on the clock, he scores to make it 2-1 for Belgium. That's brilliant. Right in front of the goalkeeper's face, but he could not make the save. So what part of the UK do you come from? I know the UK is, and by the way, when you say the UK, United Kingdom has Ireland, has England, has Scotland. Chive says, Robert, my friend, I was looking for your live. Mexico won. Congratulations to Mexico. It was such an immense game, not an easy game, but you came out on top. You have since booked yourself a date with England. You say I was wrong. Mexico won't play against Brazil for now. Yes, it is Norway who booked themselves a date with Brazil. Ibrahim Bai could not keep it on target. So you're going to be playing England. So that's your next opponent. Belgium, here they come. Yuri Tillemans to Trossard. He's looking to that on his stronger foot to try and have a strike from distance, possibly, but he was denied or closed down. It's going to be another last couple of minutes to the end of this game. I am only praying against hope, hoping against hope that they do not send us into extra time. Moreira. Uh-oh. Trossard with the cross. And it's a goal. It's a goal for Belgium. Wow. Senegal just squandered a 2-0 lead. The Senegalese fans cannot believe it. Oh. Yuri Tillemans claims the plaudits and hugs his teammates. In Leandro Trossard, with whom he was haggling over earlier, Leandro Trossard puts in the cross right on the money. The goalkeeper comes out, is nowhere near the ball, and Yuri Tillemans heads it into the back of the net. Oh, goalkeeper should be doing better. If you're coming out for that ball, you had better get to it. He misses it completely, falls to the head of Yuri Tillemans and hits the back of the net. Oh. And it's 2-2. Now they have to do it all over again. And Rudy Garcia and his team celebrate. Senegal have it to do all over again. Now the possibility of extra time just jumped to 71%. And Senegal's win possibility is at 11%, as that of Belgium is at 18%. Isn't football cruel? Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh my, 2-2. Yeah, Belgium equalized. Chipe says 2-2. Yes. Do you know Central African Republic? Yes, I've heard. I know of all the countries on the continent, from south to north, east to west. I know of majority of them, or at least I've heard of them in some form of respect, if not even studied about them. I hope Senegal won. The underdogs are doing good. Well, they had a 2-0 lead and they have just squandered it. So whatever happens from now on, they will only have themselves to blame for not doing well to defend their goal. Okay, then do you think Argentina will lose? I don't think so. They're up against Capaldi. I don't think they will lose. So, Chipes, what do you think of England as an opponent at the round of 16? Do you think you'll beat them? Or we're into the second minute of the 7 added minutes? Uh-oh. Lukaku, good holder play. Here he comes. Great pass. Oh! Senegal are living dangerously. They're having nightmares after nightmares. This could go to penalties. I hate extra time and penalties. I hate extra time and penalties. Trust me. I'd rather it ends in normal time. Those Senegalese fans out there cannot believe it. Good ball. Senegal clear the lines, but it doesn't go too far. Tillemans. Oh, goalkeeper gets it right this time round. Referee calls for foul. Mexico is strong. We can win. Mexico never lose, playing in Azteca Stadium, and the god of rain, Zoli, is that Cholk, is with you. Every time Mexico won here in Mexico City, it rained. Belgium is back. That's from Steve Harrington. Yes. Now, let me understand. Why is it that Canada had to play their round of 32 game against South Africa in the USA, and yet USA and Mexico are playing their games on home soil? You know, somebody make it make sense. Why is that the case? So the game for England will be at Mexico City, the Mexico City Stadium. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Belgium look like the only team willing to risk it all going forward for that winning goal. Senegal, here they come. Can we have a winner, a late winner in no more time? Come on, that's poor decision making. You have bodies in the box, utilize them. Sadio Mane, oh sorry, Ilman Ndiaye, Ibrahim Baye. He's been quite poor ever since he came on, Ibrahim Baye, to be fair, or to be honest. I think only next match have maybe have a chance for the host country. After that, they will be knocked out. Okay. Chipe says in the Mexican or Mexico mythology, we have our gods and we believe in one called Lalok or Lalok. Whenever the city is thirsty, he makes the rain come alive. The temperatures are quite high in Mexico City, and I think that could be of a huge advantage to Mexico. These English players may struggle in that heat. I don't know when that game will be played. Will be played on Monday, the 6th of July at 3 p.m. Sorry, at 3 a.m. 03 hours at 3 a.m. Oh, Senegal, Idris Kanagwe looking to go from distance. Oh, could not keep it on target. Apologies on the internet disruption there. These things happen. There are I did not get that one really well, Chipes. There are deities in Uganda, like ancient gods. I think every society, yeah, I think every society had what it believed in prior to religion. This thing called religion that we all seem to be obsessed with, or that we pay allegiance that we pay allegiance to, before it was introduced to any or many of us, our people, our forefathers, our grandfathers had things that they believed in. They believed in superior supernatural beings and things like that. So I think every society has that. And the game is called to an end after 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, it's Senegal 2, Belgium 2. Looks like they'll have to play extra time. Guys, allow me use extra time to go and let me see. Live ended? No, 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 no. Live did not end. Apologies. I was looking for something. I'm looking for the green screen. Guys, allow me step away for 1 minute. I go ease myself, and then I'll be back in a second, and we'll continue the conversation as the as the first half of extra time looks to get underway. I'll be back in a bit. Excuse me. Okay, we are back. We are back. Chap says 90 minutes, yes, but the game will continue though extra time. Yes, that's the case. We are going into extra time. We are going into extra time. Okay. Should we keep the green screen on or we get rid of it? What do you guys think? I'm not a huge fan of it, by the way, sometimes. Should we keep the green screen? Are you gonna watch Colombia versus Ghana? Colombia versus Ghana. That game comes tomorrow. No, on Saturday at 4:30 a.m. I don't know. The schedule is quite crazy. Senegal are looking to introduce Nicholas Jackson at the start of the opening stanza of no normal screen is good. Okay, we are back to the normal screen. We are back to the normal screen. So they're introducing Nicholas Jackson. Mane and Jacob have been withdrawn. Nicholas Jackson and Diouf have been introduced. Now Mane has to turn himself into a coach. One of the players that is supposed to come on, I don't know what's happened, but they can't seem to find his kit. So we are back for the first half of the extra time. I dread extra time. Maybe one of the reasons as why I hate it is because sometimes you do not get goals. Ends up in penalties. I hate penalties. Penalties come with lots of anxiety. Let's cheer for Senegal. We continue to cheer for them, but they've just let us down. I mean, they had a 2-0 lead, and somehow they let Belgium back in the game. And if it goes to penalties, Thibaut Courtois may send Belgium through. See you soon. See you soon indeed. I'm about to go. Robert, it was good seeing you. You don't forget to cheer for Mexico. Well, we'll cheer for I like Eric Lira, that midfielder from Mexico. And I also like Julian Aquinones. I like him. And then Gilberto Mora. I like him as well. So I have a reason to cheer for Mexico or Mexico. It's now 11 o'clock in my country. Okay. Yep. It's 1 a.m. for me. It's 1 a.m. for me. 6 minutes past 1 a.m. Oh, so let's see. 14 people cast their votes. 57% think Belgium is going to go through. 43% say Senegal. I think that's 8 out of 7. Sorry, that's like 8 versus 6 or 7 versus no, it can't be 7. Sometimes when I wake up to watch for the World Cup games, I was practically forcing myself to stay awake. I think if you love football enough, you end up staying up and watching. And it's not an easy place to be in. It's not an easy place to be in. That's why I'm not sure whether or not I'll be able to do Malik Diouf introduced as well. That's why I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do the watch along for US versus Bosnia. I may just opt out of it and, watch it. See, because you love football. Newcastle are optimistic on agreeing a deal for Freiburg midfielder Johan Manzambi. Advanced talks ongoing. That's according to Alex Crook of Talksport. Johan Manzambi, the Switzerland international. I'm sure some of you may have had the opportunity of watching him at the World Cup. uh, Now, Tottenham are also plotting a move for junior Elio Kropi from Bournemouth, according to the Independent. Spending at Spurs is to continue as they still want a left forward and maybe a striker. Kropi is a target, and Rafael Leao has been broached as an option. Man, I'm hoping they go to penalties. That's a spaghetti dude. I hate penalties. I dread penalties. I don't ask for penalties. Wouldn't want them one bit or for 1 second. Okay. Do you like football a lot too? That's an answer. I'm waiting for a question. That's an answer. I'm waiting for a question. Spaghetti dude, I hate penalties. They put me on tension. I don't like them. Not one bit. I prefer the games to end in normal time, even extra time itself. I dread it. Six minutes into extra time. And no side is yet to find the breakthrough. Only because my team is out now, I can watch without any pressure. I understand for the neutrals, they are okay to watch it go on for as long as it can. I was hoping to have some time of relaxation between this game and the next game. Now that it has gone to extra time and that it could possibly go into penalties, that reduces on that time. But usually I also use that time to do some other work. So that's why it's not an ideal situation for me. I'll be interested in knowing. Oh, it'll be at 10. Uh-oh. Oh. Eduardo Mendy and Koulibaly are absent through injury, but particularly Eduardo Mendy. Koulibaly was earlier on the sidelines warming up. It looks like he won't be featuring in this one. From the early signs of extra time, it's as though both sides are happy to go to extra time, are happy to wait for penalties. You say European countries struggle so much against African countries this time around. Yep, that speaks to the improvement of African football, in my opinion. Johan Manzambi could be on his way to Newcastle as they look to find a replacement for Sandro Tonali. Oh, Romelu Lukaku nearly got to the end of that one. Okay, forgive the quiet moments as deliberating on Johan Manzambi, who is thus far scored 3 goals and provided 1 assist at the World Cup, the central midfielder. Only 20 years of age, by the way, playing for Freiburg. So he is made 27 appearances in the Bundesliga last campaign, scoring 5 goals and providing 4 assists. So that's Johan Manzambi for you. That's Johan Manzambi for you. The Swiss international that Newcastle are pursuing. Oh, great piece of defending from Senegal as Belgium are trying to get. Belgium are really trying to get Romelu Lukaku on that ball. Ball cuts through the box. Earlier on, Leandro Trossard was trying to have a crack at it from distance. Players are beginning to cramp. Typical Leandro Trossard. The referee calls an end to the opening stanza of the extra time. We still yet to find a breakthrough. The game remains 2-2 for both sides. Yuri Tillemans and Romelu Lukaku, the late goals to cancel out Ismail Sarr and Habib Diarra's goals that had given the Lions of Teranga the lead. You can see the Senegal fans out there looking a bit dispirited. I did not think that Belgium would find a way back into this game, and it somehow they have. So, England fans, why do you have to pour beer and throw disposables at each other when you're celebrating a goal? Can't you just leave them on the table and you celebrate? You know, I've seen that clip on Sky Sport. The first half break is only almost a formality, just a moment to breathe, drink some water, and Lucas Gaming says, Senegal, you have respect for me, but I have bad news. You will lose this World Cup. Everybody jump, 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 jump. World Cup, everybody. That's Lucas 11 Gaming. Hi, Lucas 11 Gaming. Why are you joining us from? In penalties, anything can happen. Senegal could win it. From there, just like Paraguay. I mean, yeah, it is true. Anything can happen. But the same way they can win it is the same way Belgium can win it. So I would have rather it does not go there. You know, I don't think it's very wise to leave things to chance. You know, Belgium are looking to bring on Amadou Onana. Apparently, Senegal, here they come. Oh, come on. Ibrahim Baye, as good as a cutback you're going to get. As good as a cutback you're going to get. Keep that on target. Puts it on what appears to be his weaker foot, looking to place it in the far corner, but Leandro Trossard withdrawn for Amadou Onana. He was already tired, scramping, barely his feet can walk. But I was telling you, apparently Arsenal have been told the terms of the deal and what it will probably take to sign Bruno Guimaraes, with growing fears within Newcastle. The player could leave this summer. Arsenal believe £65 million could be enough to clinch his signature. That's according to some sources. We'll keep tabs on that deal and see where the conversation does lead. But we know for an absolute fact that Arsenal are looking to recruit a midfielder. Nearly 10 minutes left of play. Moreira rising really high and being met by Crepin Diata. He'll have to go off for a couple of seconds. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, I told you about Newcastle's pursuit of Archie Gray. I like this. I like what teams are doing with Spurs. um, Spurs went to Brighton and signed John Paul Van Hecke. And what Brighton did went to Spurs and signed Luka Vuskovic. However, they signed him for £46 million as guaranteed fees, and the other was signed for 52. Basically, it's an exchange of players. Oh, beautiful attempt there from Senegal to try and test Thibaut Courtois, who hasn't been tested in quite a while, but it was straight down to the goalkeeper. So basically, what Tottenham paid for John Paul Van Hecke in £52 million, that's the same fee that Brighton have agreed to sign Luka Vuskovic. The difference is that in this deal, there is for about £6 million in expected add-ons. You know, Oh. Oh, Gladiator says Tonali, Fernandez, Madson midfield. Yeah, that one will slap differently. That one will slap differently. And Newcastle are not yet done. They want to sign James Trafford from Manchester City. They want Savinho from Manchester City. They want Elliot Junior Kropi from Bournemouth. So whatever Roberto Di Zerbi is cooking, we that are waiting to eat are the ones that will be overdosed. So what do you make of those two midfield recruitments? Because they're still looking for another midfielder. I don't know what for, but maybe because they anticipate they're going to lose Lucas Barkville. Obviously, they've been trying to replace Jovic Bissouma because he left, and Newcastle want to sign Achai Gray. So maybe they're thinking some extra body for backup. Slowly by slowly, 5 minutes to the end of this one, possibly. I'm sure those coaches have started to think out in their heads who deserves to take a penalty or not. They're starting to think it through all. Okay, Spurs haven't yet addressed the striking line and medical team. Yeah, that's true. But as per the strike, they're looking to strengthen their width and the striking line. But I understand why it's been a priority for them in midfields and perhaps in defense, where they have Van Heek and Senesi now, and yet yet Van de Ven is still around. Uh, Christian Romero is still around. So when it comes to their forward areas, they have a Dominic Solanke, they have a Richardson. Richardson may not be the most reliable, but yes, Solanke is there. And then let's see. But they are looking for an option in that area. Oh, how did they miss from that? Senegal nearly paid the ultimate price at the tail end of the extra time. Beautiful cross into the box. They failed to clear their lines. Romelu Lukaku could only watch the ball. Oh, puts it over the bar. And Rudy Garcia cannot believe his eyes. Football is cruel. Football is cruel. There's a possible penalty check. There's a possible penalty check. Wouldn't that be cruel for Senegal to concede a penalty at this point in the game? Let's see. Ah, nah, not a penalty for me. There's a slight bit of contact in there, but not a penalty for me. Why do we have to wait for so long in anxiety? Oh, he's been summoned to the monitor. He's been summoned to the monitor. Never a good sound. That's a never good feel. And the referee is summoned to the monitor. Why did bigger teams run away from Tonali transfer? I don't think they ran away, but Spurs, I think, were ahead of them in terms of on the player side. Um, I think Roberto Di Zerbi, being a fellow Italian, was able to get ahead of the other suitors in sort of that conversation because Man City were in it, Man United were in the conversation, Arsenal were in the conversation. But I think once they learned that he had agreed to personal terms with Tottenham Hotspurs, they sort of maybe cooled down their interest or realized he had already given sort of commitment in a way. And I understand if somebody thinks that they should still not have given up, because in years gone by, we've seen players sort of, you know, change their minds about teams where they want to be at. The referee has left the monitor looking a bit unsure of what decision. The penalty has been awarded. Is it because of the price? Also, the price tag has been an issue for some teams because you remember what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said when he joined? Said he felt that some players had been bought beyond what ordinarily would be the actual valuation or his view of a valuation of a player. So United have sort of said they will only pay what they believe is right to be the price tag of a particular player. And that's why they've stepped away from a deal for Matthias Fernandes. They did not think he's worth £85 million. Sandro Tonali, Newcastle have been demanding £100 million. And that's why the total package, as you can see with Spurs, is £100 million. So, and all this has been made possible because Man City have set us the precedent going into the market that Elliot Anderson is worth £116 million. So if you have a player that is within the same sort of bracket or profile, you're going to look at it in the same terms, you're going to look at it in the same terms. So basically that's about it. So I think it's not easy, but yeah, teams are walking away. But as they also walk away, it makes the pool smaller and smaller because Man City want a second central midfielder. Arsenal looking for somebody. Man United need at least two because the injury to Manero Gutted has equally not helped the situation. Chelsea have signaled something, but for them it's not a priority. So we just have to wait and see. And then Liverpool are also looking for a central midfielder. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, the penalty has been given. Gueye made contact before the ball reached. I mean, I understand. The sort of theatrics in here. the sort of theatrics in this game. See how Senegal is robbed. I mean, they'll only have themselves to blame for letting the game get to this far into extra time because they had a comfortable 2-0 lead and they squandered that. So I have little defense for them, but I feel it's a harsh penalty for it to go against them. But oftentimes I say when you give a referee a decision to make, then it becomes a little bit hard for things to be on your side. Romelu Lukaku is the one stepping up to take the penalty. Oh, so it's the captain, Yuri Tillemans, that is going to put this one away. He has scored. It's 3-2 for Belgium. Yeah, from 2-0 down to allowing the game go past 90 minutes. Yeah, they sort of dropped the ball at that point. They dropped the ball at that point. And they did not give themselves a chance once they let it get to that. If I had any hopes that another African team would make it to the round of 16, it was going to be Senegal, because I felt that in Belgium they had not the weakest of opponents, but a weaker opponent, and the rest of it was more wishful than it was objective. But in this particular fixture, I gave Senegal the chance, and they've just disappointed us. Steve Harrington says, Belgium through, Senegal going home. What happened to fair play? Well, fair play will have to wait another turn. I was just talking about earlier on the game between England and DRC Congo. A moment where Ezri Kosa totally ignores the ball and pulls Yohan Wissa to the floor, and the referee doesn't even issue a yellow card. And I'm thinking to myself, what sort of officiating is this that we are witnessing? So it happened. It's unfortunate, but that's how it was handled. Pape Matsa could not have the composure to try and put that on targets. Anytime from now, the referee will be calling this one to one end. It doesn't feel like Senegal still have the energy to push for it. Quick mode. What's quick mode? Meanwhile, Harrington, no, it was Spaghetti Dude. I thought it was you, Harrington, that had said you had no pressure anymore now that your team is out. This is what they call washing and hanging in the dirt. That's what Senegal have done. Can somebody pull a rabbit out of their pockets? I don't know. I'm not sensing a sudden level of urgency to this Senegalese side in terms of wanting to go forward. It's like they're playing to protect a lead. They're not playing to find an equalizer. should be putting that ball in the box. Those fans out there are already feeling demotivated, demoralized. They know it's done and dusted. There's no way back for them. Oh, what are you still doing in an offside position? Put that ball in the box. How many time? How much time is extra time? Extra time is 30 minutes. And then because there was a penalty incident, it took a lot of time. So 4 minutes were added. And now we're into the 9th minute. But a lot of time was wasted in there. African teams' composure, yeah, that's still lacking. I think it's something that they need to learn more. Composure. They have a free kick right at the D. Senegal have a free kick right inside the D. Sadio Mane cannot believe it. Ismail Sarr off, couple of inches inside, and it would have been a penalty. Why 4 plus extra time? But it's 9 minutes past what's happening. Now, the rule says a minimum of. When the referee says 4 minutes, 5 minutes of added time, it means a minimum of that. It's not a maximum of that. So the referee can call the game to an end as and of when they see please. So that's the principle or the rule. So, and like I said, by the way, we started extra time, the penalty itself had not yet been taken. So you have to factor that in. Why is the goalkeeper even here? Senegalese goalkeeper is here to give insights. Really? Pape Matza is the one charged with the free kick? He's just put it over the bar. And the referee calls the game to an end. At long last, full-time score, Belgium 3, Senegal 2. Which African country won? Senegal or Belgium? Belgium is a European country, so but Senegal have won it. Sorry, have been knocked out. Belgium have won it. 3-2 full-time score. They needed to come from 2-0 down to restore parity and send the game into extra time with goals from Romelu Lukaku, helping them to that in terms of their victory. But he's the one that scored fast to inspire the comeback before Yuri Tillemans scored in the 89th minute to make it 2-2, and subsequently a penalty in the 50th minute of stoppage time. And Senegal, with Habib Diarra's goals and Ismail Sarr, have been knocked out. Another African team sent packing. So that means if there's any hope for many African teams to stay in the tournament, I think Senegal have just dwindled that hope, because all that is left is Egypt, who come up against Australia tomorrow. Algeria are up against Switzerland. That game is coming at 6 a.m. Tomorrow. Then Cape Verde against Argentina. Absolutely no chance, in my opinion. Then Ghana against Colombia. Another mountain to climb. Are you mental? Are you mental? Belgium is not an African country. Aha, Jesus Christ. Please, guys, go and guide yourselves on the geography. Go and guide yourselves on the geography. Senegal is from West Africa. Belgium is a European country. If you need any, Belgium is an African country like France. You're talking about the players that are in because of the likes of Lukaku, the likes of Amadou Onana. I mean, how come you're not talking about the likes of Charles de Caterina? You're not talking about players like Kevin De Bruyne. You're not talking about Thibaut Courtois, you know? So why the nitpicking? You can't choose, you cannot be selective on facts just when they suit you, you know? So you cannot select facts when they suit you. Not really. Because black players are playing for Belgium. Guys, who brought the notion or the idea that whoever is black must be African? Who brought that notion? And just because you're white, you must be from Europe or USA or Australia. Who brought that notion? Come on. Who brought that notion? Is it the skin color that defines where you come from? Or it is where you come from that defines who you are? You know? Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's a conversation for another day, perhaps. France, Belgium, Netherlands, Switzerland, all African countries. Anyway, that's for you. Otherwise, it's been a wonderful discussion right from where we started from, going through the whole of this game for the watch along, talking England, talking transfers with Tottenham Hotspurs, among other things, and etc. So it's been quite a fruitful engagement. Allow me go take a breather because there's that game to look forward to between Team USA and Bosnia-Herzegovina at 3 a.m. That's in about an hour and 6 minutes from now. So it's set to kick off in about an hour and 6 minutes from now. So just curious. Okay. So anyways, Steve Harrington, Ezio, Farouk, Steve, Gradau, not Gradau Games, but Spaghetti Dude, Lucas, Chipes, Achi Morrison, Force Edits, and every single one of you that has been part of the broadcast. Thank you so much for dedicating your time. It's always a pleasure to have you around, to have your company. If I have the energy, if I have the guts for it, we'll do the watch along for USA against Bosnia and see where the conversation is. But in case we can't, find it within your heart. Just keep your notifications on. I've had rumors that Tottenham are looking to drop another 100 million on Kropi. Well, I do not know that they are willing to drop 100 million on Kropi, but I know for an absolute fact that they are interested in signing him. And last I checked, the valuation of Elliot Junior Kropi for as far as Bournemouth are concerned is anywhere in millions, 80 to 100 million pounds. Of course, it's an exaggeration of the price tag itself, so we'll leave it at that. So, Steve Harrington, ignore Ezio. He's just rage baiting you. He's just rage baiting you now. If you've not yet picked up on that, take it from me. Anyways, Ash, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you around. Until the next episode, stay blessed for now and be blessed. Bye-bye.